Introduction to trigonometric functions. There are 6 trig functions. We have sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. Here are the definitions of the functions. What the definitions are describing is the relationship between the trig function, the angle, and a corresponding triangle that is made when given a point on a graph. I'll show you an easy way to memorize this on the next slide. The most important thing to gather here is that you can see sine and cosecant are the same with the fraction flipped, cosine and secant are the same with the fraction flipped, and tangent and cotangent are the same with the fraction flipped. That means if we find one, we can easily find the other. Here's an easy way to memorize it. I use SOHCAHTOA. So just means sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, ka means cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and toa means tangent, which is equal to opposite over adjacent. Let's go over some examples. Example number 1. Find the 6 trig functions given the point -2, 3. First, what we want to do is plot the point. -2, 3 is going to be up here. And now, let's draw a triangle. This angle here is going to be theta. This value here is our y value. This value here is our x value. And then our hypotenuse, which is unknown, is going to be r. What we want to do is find our hypotenuse. And we know we can use the Pythagorean theorem to do this. So the Pythagorean theorem is r is equal to the square root of x squared, which is -2 squared, plus 3 squared, which is our y value. Solving this, we get r is equal to 4 plus 9, which is 13. So we have our r value, we have our x value, and we have our y value. And this is all we're going to need to get our 6 trig functions. Taking a look at this screen, I just drew the triangle on the right side with the values that we found. So let's go ahead and use our memorization trick by using SOHCAHTOA to find our trig functions. Let's first start with SO. SO is sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite is the number that's opposite from the angle, theta. So the number opposite from theta is 3. So that means that sine is equal to the opposite, which is 3 over the hypotenuse, which is radical 13. Now let's find our cosine. We do that by using ka, C-A-H. So A means adjacent, which is adjacent from our angle, theta, which in this case is -2, and that is going to be over the hypotenuse. So we have -2 over radical 13. And now for tangent, we use toa. That means opposite over adjacent. Opposite is 3, and adjacent is -2. So that means 3 over -2. All right? And the good thing is, all we have to do is memorize those 3, because the other 3 trig functions we can get by just flipping our equations over, or our fractions over, I should say. So sine, to find cosecant, you just flip sine over. So that means for cosecant, we're going to have radical 13 over 3. Secant is just cosine flipped over, which is going to be negative radical 13 over 2. And then cotangent is just tangent flipped over, which is -2 over 3.